Yesterday was nice. It was really sunny and I actually took the dog for a run. It was the first run I had done in a long time and it actually hurt my knees and I'm pretty sore today. It's amazing. I'm about 30 years old and I feel like I'm way too out of shape to be only 30. But I'll do a little bit each day and get better. It's been pretty cold and dreary today and every once in a while we have a little bit of rain. My wife's nausea from the pregnancy is getting worse, and this combined with the stress of all that's going on at the hospital is really dragging her down. I'm trying to be supporting, but find it hard too. Nothing I make she wants to eat, which makes me feel like I've failed, but in reality, it's just me being needy. She's got a lot going on and is legit sick from the hormones, which I don't really get, so I don't understand, but I'm trying to. I ended up making soup last night for my daughter and a PB&J for my wife, and she liked it and ate it. So I felt like I had a win there. Tonight we got barbecue delivered by a company that does no contact delivery. They just leave it on your front door, which is pretty nice. You don't have to interact with anyone or sign. I do have to correct some info, which I talked about yesterday. I mentioned the nurse at my wife's hospital being sick after an individual came in and did not disclose they were under investigation for having COVID-19. That's actually two separate incidences. A nurse got sick and is in quarantine, and in a separate incident, an individual came in and did not disclose they were under investigation for having COVID-19. An older nurse was working with them, and she is not showing symptoms and not currently testing positive, but is isolating. So that's relatively good news. I misheard my wife when she was telling the story. Um, Later on this afternoon, I started working on my next hyperinflation video on the Weimar Republic. I've been wanting to do this one for a while, and I find it really interesting that today it seems kind of mirrors the past with the money printing, frozen labor, non-production. It's very much like Germany post World War One. I really wonder what comes next or who comes next in our government. In Weimar, most of the labor force was put out of work, and then people were given money. And that combined with the massive debts owed to other nations was a recipe for disaster. I finished up my next video in the series on technical analysis, and I also am really happy about this because I've been wanting to make this series for over 6 years now, but I never have. And now I'm doing it as a coping mechanism for not being able to leave the home. But it feels really good making it. Today we started more seedlings. We planted tomatoes and peppers in Jiffy greenhouse pots. The seeds are leftovers from last year from Baker Creek Heirloom Seed Company. They're a really cool company with heirloom seeds of all types, and they have some really obscure varieties. So I definitely suggest checking them out. We're growing 4 types of peppers and 4 types of tomatoes, and I have a small setup in the basement with grow lights for the seedlings to grow while it's too cold outside. I originally had these lights set up for a microgreen system I was experimenting on in 2017. It ended up a disaster. The fish tank leaked and damaged our carpets, but overall it was a really cool experience, and we had many good microgreen harvests from it. Soon we'll start the basil seedlings and other herbs. We're still going through our dried basil from 2018, and like I mentioned in the last video, this year is all about saving, drying and freezing, canning, saving seeds. One exciting thing about our garden this year is the chives came back from last year, and we have one parsley plant. We had one parsley plant sprout in late November, and it grew all throughout the winter. Then in the spring, I dug it up and I put it in a large planter pot. I'm really excited to get seeds from this one because all the other parsley died over the winter except this one. So something in its genetics makes it more cold hardy. So I plan to try and breed this with another plant and save the seeds. Or perhaps I could try to clone it and just keep it going year after year. I don't know what I'll do. I'll decide later on that. Today my daughter said the funniest thing. She was sitting on the couch with my wife while I was in the office room working, and they were watching a video or something and she saw a donut. and she said she liked donuts and asked if she could go outside and go donut picking. Donut picking. Uh, we explained to her that you bake them. You don't pick them off trees, but I'm not quite sure she really gets it. She's getting really good at speaking and acting out things. Today she wrapped my wife in a towel and called her her bundle of joy, and then pretended to be a doctor and gave her a shot. Her imagination is amazing, and I hope it continues to grow. My wife asked me to organize all our accounts, our investments, banks, etc. today. I have a lot of stuff in a lot of places, very spread out. She mentioned that she wouldn't know how to find everything if I died, since I take care of all this stuff. And I thought, wow, this is pretty morbid. But she has a point. So tonight I'm going to put it all together. I'm going to put it in a booklet for her with the different account names and such and quantities and how to access them. It does seem very morbid to think about, but it's the adult thing to do. I really can't wait for this pandemic to be over. I do enjoy working from home, but the suffering going on everywhere is unimaginable. I try to insulate myself from it by not reading the news too much. This disease truly is insidious. In times of crisis, usually people come together and gather in groups and work together, and they stand together. But now we have to be apart, in our homes. In all honesty, it's easy to stay at home. At least we have a home. For all you out there who are in a rough place because of this, my prayers are with you. I pray you get the support you need, and if you are ill, that you recover quickly. God bless. See you tomorrow.